everybody, and welcome to another episode of Is That an Owl Bear, a D&D podcast. I am one of your hosts, one half of this podcast. I am Cristina Contreras. Wow, words.
Good
and
job.
I am accompanied by
the other half of your host, because we're one person. I'm DM Joe, and I'm
are.
more than happy to be here again after our little hiatus.
We did have a
That
little
was
hiatus.
Totally, definitely planned and not
It-
something that came up unexpectedly.
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
had so very much planned this ahead for weeks in advance, and it wasn't just life getting overwhelming.
And it's 100% not something that we just didn't mention because it was
you knew.
yeah,
if you can't remember, that's on you. We said it.
It seems like a listening problem.
So
We're
now
sorry.
you
Hi.
know that you gotta pay more attention in the future. It's okay. We will let it go.
Yeah.
Okay, the point is we're back.
happy. We're happy that you're here.
Hello, welcome.
Been a minute. Hi. It's been a minute and a half. But yeah, sorry about that.
In other news, the world is melting.
The world is melting. Panama is a hell spot where only Satan thrives, and that's where we're at.
New York is Satan's butt crack, so it's pretty much the same sentiment. Cool. I hate it here. Anyways,
whenever I mention the heat to anyone, their answer is like, "Did you know that next week, it's actually going to be worse?"
And every day has been worse. Every day, and I'm simply like, you know what? If I wanted to be in a disgusting, sweat-filled world, I would go to a fantasy desert. I would go sit at a table in a refrigerated room and pretend to be in a desert having a bad time because all right, I recognize that I am saying this from a point of privilege. I recognize that, all right, do not come for me like that. But all I'm saying is I did not consent to this heat. I am doing my due diligence, and I am recycling, and I am not turning on the AC when I can help it, but I have not been able to help it every single day for the past 3 weeks. So gross.
I all I have to say is I was talking to one of my players. He lives in Arkansas, middle of US, if my geography isn't betraying me on the internet now. But he lives in the middle of dry United States of America, and he's just like, yeah, it's just warm here and dry. And the only word that comes to mind for Panama is Christina's favorite word, moist.
That's Charlie. I don't hate moist as much, actually.
Okay, right. Sorry,
it just makes me laugh. It just makes me laugh.
I knew you had a reaction. I didn't remember what it was, but it everything is just currently wet. Like,
I hate it.
It's just wet. It's like a wet dog, and I'm just like, and I just stay very still, and I still sweat. Like, you know that feeling that when you get out of the shower and you start sweating immediately.
This has been every day. Every day. Like, I hate it. I hate it so much. And I know that this is not D&D related. All right, you're gonna have to bear with us. You're gonna have to bear
for a weather podcast.
Listen, I know that this is rough and this is not D&D material. Okay, I get it. But like,
well, wait.
Could go on.
Do you want me to make it D&D material?
I would love for you to make it D&D material.
I'm gonna clear myself. Okay. So guys, today we're gonna talk about how to keep battles entertaining. And one of the things that we were gonna mention specifically is weather effects. And that's why we're talking about the weather. Because one of the variety things that you should definitely keep in mind is it raining? Is it storming? Is it hot? Is it a snowstorm? Is it a sandstorm? Is it like, and because of the moistness in the atmosphere, maybe like your thunder attacks do more damage, or things are now slippery and everything's sticky. Like, be creative with it.
Be creative. Be creative.
I'm gonna
can't
like,
keep a beat.
I don't do sports, but that was a fucking slam dunk.
There you go.
Did you see
You
that?
did amazing. I saw
Yes.
that imaginary ball just go like, yes, he nailed it.
Swish,
1,000%.
swish, swish,
1,000%.
bish.
Swish, swish, bish. But anyway,
Mhm.
that's what we're talking about today. Are you warm? Turn on the AC. Do you not have it? Fan yourself with a cardboard. I don't care. Get comfortable because it's
Mhm.
gross out. Go
Yep.
stay hydrated because that's
Yep.
important. How are we gonna keep them battles exciting?
Well, besides fiddling around with like your climate conditions, which I think is a fairly standard one, but
Mhm.
surprisingly, I don't see use that often.
Okay.
At least in the live plays that I watch. Also, by the way, Christina, we need,
Yes.
I'm gonna pause for a second the actual topic, but I need you specifically to watch this live play called Dimension 20. I think
Yes.
it's
Oh,
going to be
I'm sorry.
an
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen, listen, listen. I
no,
got no
wait, no,
business.
wait, wait, wait. Because I know you're going to mention Dungeons and Drag Queens, which is art, the
I
highest
mean,
form.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But
It's just I got no business loving Brennan the way that I do.
the
I got no
way I look
business.
at him respectfully,
Mine is not
like
respectful.
I hate that Brendan makes me feel this way. And don't you know what? Stop it.
Brennan
Dungeons,
Mulligan. I know you're
Brendan Lee
married.
Mulligan.
I don't
Hi, we love you.
care.
I am a good player. I can go play with you in your dorm.
Daddy.
Anyway,
Uh-huh.
I want you to be aware. Like you've obviously heard of Dungeons and Drag Queens because you know me, and like those are my two special interests combined. And I'm like, watch it. However,
And
if you're
it's
listening to us, there's a
glorious.
big chance that you are well versed in D&D, and I'm sure that you've heard of a crown of
I'm
candy.
not,
But
so I don't know. Go
exactly,
on.
do you know what a crown of candy is, Christina?
A crown of candy.
That's the name of the campaign.
I was gonna say that sounds like a trap for children.
No. Let's not go
Then
in that
no.
direction, and let's go this way.
Then no.
That's the dark road that we're not traversing. On this road, however, imagine a world where food are the characters. Like, say, rather than have elves, dwarves, and gnomes, you have cheese people, carrot people, and whatever, right? So
I want this.
oh, wait, you don't know. So it's like it's like Candyland, right? In
Yes.
that like the main characters,
I think I might have actually seen something
it's so
from
good.
this.
So
I
like
think I have.
the main characters are from Candy Castle, and they're the Rock royal family, whatever. But it's Candy World meets Game of Thrones.
Yes, I have absolutely
It's
thousand
so good.
percent seen a clip of this. Now that you
I
said it, I was like, ah.
it is like I usually put on a live play when I'm making my maps for my sessions. I've stopped making maps because
Just to pay attention.
what's going on. I have to say two things. Brandon Lee Mulligan is amazing.
Ravishing.
Second, Emily Oxford is the D&D player the world deserves. I
I
am
love
not
this.
even Emily. Hi, Emily. If you ever hear me, know that for you, I would do whatever you want. Like I would pay to DM you. I would give you money for me to be able to go up against such a brilliant player mind. Like you don't understand. Like the way she has ingested the rules and understands what her character can do, and then she just spits it back out to you in a way that she destroys a combat in like 2 rounds. It is
Oh, I love this.
so immersive. It is so good. Like, oh my god, I am like I love my players, I love my experiences, I love what I'm doing. But if I could honestly be like, hi, I'm Oxford, I want to DM you, and here's I don't know $100 billion. Can I? And if she said yes, I would be the happiest. Like it is pure on D&D joy.
I mean, first of all, who would say no to $1 billion? Second, if you had $1 billion, you and I would not be friends.
If
Like,
I had $1 billion, I wouldn't be my own friend. Honestly, I'd be like, valid. But
did
I
I
would
tell you?
still.
I didn't tell you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This is a little.
You're a billionaire. Is this your secret?
No, no, no,
No.
no, no, no. This is just a little parenthesis for everybody who's listening to just laugh at me, okay? And for you as well. Did I tell you that I did the AI thing on TikTok?
No.
The AI. So I try to do. I can go live on TikTok now, and I tried doing the AI trend. So like because people apparently make bank with that trend. Point being, somebody reported me. I immediately got restricted access to that. But like at one point, I did something with my fingers, with my nails, and I'm just over here like, oh no, what did I start talking about this? I forgot. Okay, let's go back to our regular programming.
Okay, so anyway, guys, watch if you're gonna watch one live play besides the one that Christina and I will start in the far future.
Yes.
Watch Dimension 20. Oh my god. So
Yes.
anyway, going back to our topic, which we just barely mentioned, how to keep your fucking environments entertaining. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about battles. How to keep your battles entertaining. First of
Yes.
all, enemies, right? So we talked about weather, but enemies, monster variety. Let's start with that one. One of the things that when I started DMing online and I started looking at the monster manual, I kept coming upon this specific problem because the world that I'm playing, my homebrew world, is very coastal and island oriented. There's X amount of water creatures. Like it's very short.
Okay.
So I either had to homebrew or give $1,000 to Wizards of the Coast. I've done neither. Sorry, I've done the homebrew. I haven't given them $1,000, and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't given them $1,000 yet. I
Thank you for the caveat.
I buy their shit regularly when they're on discount because I do intend to own their entire library because I'm a pro DM. That's kind of
That's
in my head.
Point.
It's a
End of
business
sentence. End of sentence.
You need the access to the amount of creatures. So
Yes.
As I've expanded my library, I do agree that before it used to be you're fighting trolls, here is 3 trolls. Now here's, I don't know, 2 trolls and MacGuffin. And the MacGuffin is like a mount, or maybe it's like a sheep or whatever. And I just have a more of if you give variety of if they're range, short distance, long distance, area of attack type of enemies, players will have to think who they target and why, rather than I do this little attack, I roll my dice. It becomes a tactical situation where it's just much more entertaining than just rolling your regular hits. So a good example is like goblins, and this is actually in the monster manual. Goblins usually have wargs with them that they ride. So have a mounted goblin that gets an additional damage. He can also charge you. Edit your monsters for all of them to be a little bit different. And I know that's asking for a lot because it takes time, but your players will be thankful because if they're fighting some goblins and then a fucking goblin comes in like on his fucking and sword swinging, people are gonna do that. Like you get those laughs, get those reactions, go crazy, and they're not gonna expect it because it's gonna come out of the cave they didn't see, because it's hidden behind the bushes.
Yes.
So keep it interesting with a variety of monsters.
Okay.
Like have your I don't know, have the goblin boss have a pet troll or something, like a troll that it can mind control for some ancient little magical thing that it found. Like just mix and match for things to get weird and unexpected. You're fighting goblins and then there's a troll in a cage that's also attacking you. Why? We don't deserve that, but it's there. No one's gonna.
But it's there. I saw a TikTok not that long ago that was actually very, it was very, very on point. It's like when the music suddenly changes, it's like, oh, you get the minions. When the music swells up, oh, you're getting the bad guy. You're getting the bad guy once the music swells big up. It switches. Yeah, you get the big bad guy. Amazing. You finally defeat him first, because like first you were minding your own business. The music changes, you get the minions, you destroy the minions. The music changes again, you get the next bad thing, you do that. The music swells to the point of like of just and you're
Orchestra,
like orchestra, and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I survived this. Then suddenly a chorus starts singing in Latin. No, it's just that's just KO. That's just fucking KO. Just please stop.
It's giving Final Fantasy. That's what you should be doing. It's giving is that its final form? Oh shit. Like, okay, so here, check this out. Remember that fungal dragon that I told you about a couple episodes ago?
Oh, it was a dragon. I thought that it was like a fungal disease.
There's a race of fungal people that have a disease, but they also have a fungal dragon that the players had seen at a distance, right? So the player's goal, they have to sneak into, it's fucked up. It's like one of the most dangerous areas in my world. The player's goal was to sneak into the fungal area and steal a flower that they can use to cure another disease that has nothing to do with the fungal people. This is relevant because the first time they went, they saw the fucking dragon with the mushrooms coming out of it, and it's giving Last of Us, it's giving I'm dead but not really, whatever. So the dragon's all like, and spores come out of it, and they're all like, holy shit, we're gonna have to fight this. So they return, they fight it, they win, they were a round away from a TPK. And they're feeling super, like they're feeling their oats, like they're like, we won, everything's going great. And then the fungal people come out,
and then the chorus started singing in Latin.
Yeah, no, like what I did was, rather than keep it in battle, I gave them they're like, oh, you killed our protector, whatever, blah blah blah, and they were like, we did, and they're feeling all strongest, and then they learned later that they killed the smaller of the two dragons.
Oh no!
And not only when they talked to the leader of the fungal people, he was a cleric that revived the dragon that they killed. So it was all for naught. And that they now have their two dragons. And now they're either going to go full on and fight them, or just be like, that's a problem for someone else. Goodbye. That's going to be up to them. So it was a good moment.
Oh boy.
But yeah, something else that can help
in
keeping your battles interesting that I do. This is something I do for every fucking session. And it takes a lot of time. So I understand DMs that can't, but homebrew the fuck out of your monsters. Like in another area of my world, there's like a giant kraken that like is controlling a race and whatever. And then the race only has one stat block. And they've been fighting the same enemies over and over again. So that gets repetitive. But if you're having a type of war situation, that's what's going to happen, right?
Right.
So then what if I gave them a spellcaster? What if I gave them different weapons? What if I gave them bigger ones, smaller ones, barbarians, fighters, clerics, blah, blah, blah.
Divine ones?
Yes. So you get the same template physically, but then you're
pumping them up with
abilities, and people are going to find that much more engaging than being like, this is same monster number 28,743. It's now, remember that fight when we fought up against the Mage Deep Scion? That was fucked. And people are going to be like, yeah. It happened on Monday on my game, or the Mage Deep Scion enlarged another one, so they were fighting a giant one. And then their mage enlarged a dwarf. So in a cavern, there's a giant dwarf fighting a giant deep scion. And they ended the session and they were like, that was amazing. It's just because I gave them one spell. That's literally
just one spell did the difference. Made the difference.
One spell made regular battle in Underground be an iconic memory for the players. They're going to always remember the tables being used as battering rams and chairs being thrown and all this type of thing.
I have a question for you. So we all know how important setting the scene for the battle is. We all understand the very important role that our senses play as we are getting ready to go into battle. So definitely I believe that just me, a pretty novice player, along with everybody, can agree that music is a big deal and a big
Yes, it
part
is.
of setting up your battles. My question is, what makes or breaks a song for you for battle?
Oh,
What
wow.
what are kind of like the main components that you require a song to have in order for it to convey what you're trying to express
I'm
in
gonna
battle?
sound like a fool because this is a question that I can't really answer because I'm not musically versed.
That's
I
fair.
can tell you that I know it's a battle song when I hear it, and
Okay.
I know what I do, for example, because I don't know how to Google like this type of instrument or that. I'm not musically versed. It's not one of my talents at all. It's one actually of the things I know least about. But googling on YouTube, using YouTube, I'm putting in epic battle music. The way it relates the most, I think that I can tell you, it sounds like a trailer, the that type of fast-paced, loud, and has loud moments and soft moments, I guess is the best way that I can describe it.
So the
Because if you
orchestration.
the orchestration, yes, I guess that's the correct term.
Okay.
That really helps for a good battle. And video game, another big tip, video games, you're playing a game, video game music it's part of the experience. Battle video game music is very good to use in D&D. Like, they're
I
on
love
Spotify.
that. All
um
right.
I'm big on basically trailer music is really good, but a skill that I have that a lot of my players have complimented on me on uh across my life is when I'm writing for D&D or setting up like a moment, I'm usually listening to a song, and eventually all of my games have a theme song or theme songs that go with it, be it in battle or out of battle or anything. And I begin to learn the melody in such a way that I can use my word to crescendo in and out of the song that my players describe as absolutely mesmerizing because
I
I
can vouch
pause.
for that. I
Yeah.
can absolutely vouch for that.
And it is honestly one of the skills that I am most proud of because I see what it is. And however, it's also one of the skills that takes the most work. It's harder than creating lore.
Okay.
It's harder than um, because you need to match your sentence structure, speed with musical notes. And if you're not musically inclined like Cristina, like this isn't something that
That's
for me
me.
comes naturally. Um,
So basically, what you're describing for me that you can't quite put into words, and mind you, I am musically inclined as a performer, not as a musician, which is also a completely different uh, perspective of this whole thing. But you're the conductor. You're the conductor of the orchestra, and you need to know the piece. You need to know how to direct, conduct the musicians, but it's kind of like in reverse, since the piece has already been created.
that's it. Yeah.
You are allowing yourself to be a conduit of the piece instead
Yes.
of the conductor of the piece.
Correct. And
Ooh, I like
in
that.
that was fucking brilliant because that's exactly
That's
what it is. And
awesome.
to do that, at least for me, it takes repetition. I remember
Yeah, 1,000%.
when I first started developing the skill that I noticed the first time it worked. It was when we started playing vampires again. So this was what I was,
Mm-hmm.
24, give or take,
30,
23.
24, 24.
And I remember seeing it the first time that it happened, and it happened without me realizing that I was doing it. But then when I realized it was happening, I was like, I need to capture that feeling again because players lost their shit. Like people were so like
For real,
bated
for
breath,
real.
like word
Truly.
after word. So I started practicing it, and it took a long time for me to figure out what I was doing because I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
You know, like I was teaching
Yeah.
myself a skill that I had no idea what the
You had
skill
no
even
name
was.
for. You had no
Yes,
name for this skill, but you were honing it.
yes. And I how
Okay.
and now it's something that I don't even need to practice it anymore. I just need to listen to a song a shitload of times while I'm writing. And then the voice finds itself and the words find themselves. I also this doesn't have to do with battles, but I also have another skill that's related to this that I can kind of free flow conversation. It requires a little bit of like disassociating myself with being here, but it becomes a very melodic string of words that I can also see players just kind of be completely enthralled with the pacing and just the pitching of it. And this works in battles. It's harder in battles because it requires a lot of disassociating myself from being here and letting just words come out. And I can't do during their battles because I have to be aware of so many things. But if it's
Mhm.
that final battle and you're talking about making your battle interesting, cutting the battle to have this moment with the flow of words, I can guarantee will be worth it.
So it's like it's kind of like in an anime, even though I know that you wouldn't know because you don't
I
watch
wouldn't
this,
know.
but
Mm-mm.
it's like that moment in an anime when they are in the middle of a battle and the battle should be taking no more than 5 minutes, but they have a 20-minute like argument
I
with
know the
each
concept.
other.
I know the concept, but I actually have to be honest and say it's not like that because it's not me talking to you. It's something more about me describing what you're feeling in a way
Okay,
that
okay. The
because
description. Okay.
I
I
use
thought
it
that
to
we were talking
describe.
about like
I
yes,
mean,
but you
we
yeah,
monologue. Hi.
yeah. But of
Um,
course, the music is used to describe the scene. But when you said that you were describing it, I was kind of like visualizing the description of an interactive scene. So, two or more characters having an interaction, like
it
uh, go on.
this example that I'm giving now of that free flow like
Mm.
word vomit for lack of a better word, it does work that way because I can start it like me personally the skill I can use it I can start it, but it wouldn't work well in battle because I would be free flowing and then you would answer and I would then just answer back in that tone.
Mhm.
But during a battle then I have to switch out of it and then go into battle and
Okay.
it's it's weird. It's a different thing. But answering your original question, music matters. Music is important, and learn the beats to pace your words because it will be immersive.
Absolutely. And you might want to say as much as you do that you are not musically inclined, but this, my friend, this is very much musically inclined. This is very much studying music.
I guess what I mean, thank you, first of all. Second is I guess what I mean is I study it in a
Empiric.
non-academic way. Yeah, like
Yes.
it's just like I know what it is, but if you ask me to talk about it, it's gonna happen kind of what I said. Now I didn't use the correct terminology. I'm sure there's word vomit. There's a much better way of saying because if I were to tell my players this is what I'm doing, I'm sure they'll be like, that's not what you're doing. Like I understand why you're using that term, but it's not. Um, but yeah, so I'm not musically inclined in the way that I know what I'm talking about, but
Mhm.
I do know how to use it because I realized how important it was for games, like in
It
battle and
truly
out of
is.
battle. Like
It truly is. And I want to say, and I'm sorry I'm
so
interrupting,
immersive.
but I was there for the difference and the upgrade, so to speak, from when music was there during vampires, but the moment that the music became a relevant factor and not yes, a relevant factor, but a transport for
Mhm.
the scene. Because one thing is using the music to set up the battle to, for us just to not be silent or just us with our thoughts and our feelings, but to have the pressure of
Yep.
a timed piece, so to speak. That is
I
important.
I
But
I want to give. Yeah,
yeah,
go on. Sorry.
no, I just wanted to say that I remember very, very clearly the moment that music stopped being just used for there to be music, and when it became another member, a tool and another member of the story, not the party, but the story.
I know that this is, I guess, guys, we're going to talk about this topic further, but I want to music on another episode, because talking about music actually is really important, because I want to add this. Today, like literally today, you know that I'm pro DMing and all this, but what we'd also know, I don't know if I shared it here, is I'm pro DMing, but I'm doing it in a virtual way, and that's what's new for me, not DMing. Like I got DMing down packed, but doing it virtually has given me a couple of challenges that I didn't even consider. Music being one of them, because I don't have copyright to my thousands of playlists. When I play in Panama, I play with my Spotify list, right? So I just click, and I'm not making any money. So it's just, and it's great, and I can time it. So now I'm playing in a virtual tabletop, or to upload music, I need to have it in my laptop. I'm not going to pirate it because and we pay artists. That's the reality. Sorry, I understand. This is coming from privilege because I can't afford it, but I prefer to pay for my art. Music is art. And
from an artist who's currently on strike, I want to say thank you. So
you're welcome.
Yes.
And this isn't just me grandstanding. This is honestly how I feel. I don't even pirate video games because it takes people's work. Like anyway, that's not what we're talking about. The thing is, I'm using modules in my tabletop that include the music is, it's not music? Yeah, it includes songs, and they're not generic, they're good songs, but I don't know them yet. Like I haven't done the study that I just mentioned everywhere.
Right.
Literally today, they met a semi-helpful NPC. Like it's someone that I introduced that can go either way. You can either make an enemy or an ally. It's up to the players.
Nice. Okay.
And she was being friendly, but the music was being ominous. And because I don't know the track listings, I was like, I need to change the tone. And as I was realizing what was happening, because let's remember that I'm deaf in one ear, so music is hard on headphones. I'm like trying to change the song, and a player's like, I roll insight because the music is giving me evil vibes. And I was like, potatoes. Go ahead and roll that. This is fine. I'll roll with it. It's on me.
But yeah, like no, for real. If it had been me, I would have been like, perception, because I don't trust this bitch.
He literally said, I don't trust the music. It wasn't even the lady. She was fine. He was just, I do not trust the music. Why is she? What is Joe? What are you planning, Joe? And I was like, well, nothing apparently, because. So now that we've talked about music, it's as extensive. I also I guess this episode's called "We Started at Battles but Ended in Music," something that I specifically recommend to all players, all DMs. Yay. And this is really important. Make that theme songs. Have players recognize those intro notes. Like currently in my current campaign, one of the theme songs, because of Stranger Things, I was very into you know the song.
Yes.
If only I could make a deal with God. That song is part of. We're gonna get copyright struck. Stop.
No, we're not no, because it was less than 30 seconds, and because we're not using the actual music, I was just humming it. We are good. We are good. I have been struck by those on my stream, so I know.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay. Well, that specific song by Kate Bush, thank you, Kate Bush. I use it, and whenever you're welcome, Joe. And what's happening? And whenever it comes up, they know that they're dealing with one specific type of storyline, and they immediately get tense because it's a very it's one of the harder like the longer plot runs, like the ones that will be the most challenging. So whenever they hear the dun, 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 you see everybody just like, why is that?
I love that. No, 1,000% having like those specific songs, like those recurring songs, like I said before, the song becomes a character. the songs, the music become an additional character that people can recognize, that people can react to. So music is everything. I love music.
It is so important. It is so as you make it part of the story, people really relate to it in such a way. And give yourself a playlist that is not just generic, like this is battle, this is that, this is that. Use it.
Yes, 1,000%. Ooh, I like that. I agree. And we're probably going to be talking about this again because we say this every episode. It's not nearly enough time to cover as much as we want to, but we need to also understand that if we could, we would sit here for 9 hours and you would not listen to that because that is called an audiobook. So
that's longer than an audiobook.
So on that note, I think it's time to start wrapping up. We got our little game to play.
We are playing, is that a blank? What you see is a hideous, gargantuous, worm-like creature. Gargantuan, worm-like, I don't have words, worm-like creature that has like spikes coming out of its back and side and teeth. They're all jagged and sharp and more yellow colored than what they should be looking. And it's massive and it's coming out of the ground. What am I?
It's the Beetlejuice worm.
What?
Have you not watched Beetlejuice, the movie?
I have, but it's
the sandworm from Beetlejuice is a fucking masterpiece. So do yourself a favor and go watch it again and we're not promoting any movies here, but there is not supposedly because I saw actual footage, part 2 potentially coming out with peoples that I cannot mention because I'm on strike, but go watch the OG Beetlejuice. Anyways, it's a sandworm.
It's a purple worm. You got one word right.
That lives in sand?
Well, it lives underground in the Underdark, which is like a cave system under like
okay.
Massive. And it is attracted to noise, and it's actually one of the more iconic D&D enemies.
I'm embarrassing
It's really
myself.
Tough.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, a little bit, but that's what we do here. And it it's this massive worm that is really aggressive, and it's a tough battle, and it's iconic for just being this thing that you throw at players to just kind of eat them and terrorize them.
I love that.
When it burrows through, it eats rock and earth, and it kind of breaks it down and it constantly excretes just like rocks and precious metals. Yeah.
His poo-poo is gold.
Well, his poo-poo is gemstones. So yes, his poo-poo is gold. And they're so big that what they kind of do is, or a fun way to use them is to have players exploring the Underdark, but then get lost through these new tunnels that are just kind of forming up around the area that they knew. And it turns out they're not just new tunnels, they're where these creatures are excavating.
Oh, that's gross. Yay.
I love that. With the golden poop.
Yeah. Listen, I'm always going to talk about poop if I can, but that's just me. On that note, I think that it's time to start wrapping up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another episode of Is That an Owl Bear, a D&D podcast. We are happy to be back, and we would love to hear from you guys. So if you want to get in touch with us, please reach out to us on our socials. We are OwlBearPod1 on Twitter, OwlBearPod on YouTube, and on Instagram. Please follow us on our socials. You can find me as Crispa Contreras on Twitch and Instagram, and Crispa120 on Twitter and TikTok. And Joe?
You can find me on Twitter at Joe Harrell, and you can find me on Start Playing as DM Joe. I'm more than happy to get you on board to explore a fresh new world. Thank you guys
for listening to another episode.
Not? Yes.
Absolutely. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.